I once read called Getting It All Together. Amazing book because it was the smallest book I ever saw. I just saw a little tiny book laying on the ground, and it was too small to even a children's book. It was like a book made for a doll or something. And I picked it up and I read it. It's one of the most powerful I read called Getting Together. One of the book was about how when we fall in our knee, our mom comes running up like it's hurting, like she feels our pain. But in reality, she doesn't feel anything. Her leg isn't bleeding. She doesn't hurt or feel anything. And it gives this bond or impression like our pain. And we go through this whole life. It's always a reminder for background noise and subliminals. When you always check your thoughts, double check your thoughts. You hear, if you rewind something, and every time you rewind it, the same word or thought pops up to the back of your mind. It's some subliminal suggestions. It's like ocean waves. All right, but back to the point at hand. So I took this to be true. Okay, my mom's acting like she feel my pain, but she don't feel nothing. And other people act like they feel their pain or they're crazy. You're making me hot because you got that coat on. You're making me nervous. Sit down. They got mental problems, right? Until today. See, the, when it, I listen. Today I found that when a person is their child, her or does this, I will check them off by comparison their value to this note. Now, as I was saying, took this to heart. Oh, they don't feel our pain. It's all in their head. It's impossible to connect to you, and people go through life and like they feel you, they don't, right? But I just found out that when a mom, what she's going through is not mental. It's worse than psychosomatic, which means she can have a heart attack and drop dead if something happens to her child in her eyesight, 100 yards away. Child's nowhere near her and gets injured so bad the mom could faint or pass out. It has physical effects. The mental has physical effects. So you can't say she doesn't feel anything. That's incorrect. We overshot it when we figured this thing out. She feels something. We know things come thoughts in her head and it causes rapid heartness or tears or many other physical effects. It's called feelings. These thoughts make you feel something, but it's real. And that footnote has to be added, has to be corrected because it's down in the books as a mental problem, a mental condition, something not so, something that doesn't have to be, something you can remove. No, you can't. See, and it's a physical connection, not just a physical reaction to mental stimuli. There's a connection between that person and the child. Just because you can't see it or feel it, it's physical. Wrong. They're beginning to play games now. Now let's do what I'm telling you, because want to play mind games and stuff. People got a wicked reward coming for each and one of those moves. Or people only do this when they think they can get away with it. If they knew what it was going to do to them for it, they never would even did it. Now, back to the point at the people, all right, which they say there is none. Okay, they were not connected. Wrong. There's a connection, and it's physical. It's just invisible. How can it be invisible and be real or be tangible? The same way there's a physical connection between your remote control and your TV, but you can't see it, you can't feel it, you can't detect it at all, but you know that it's there because the remote control is making the TV do things as though it is a lever attached. So this is an example of an invisible connection. All right. So there is a connection between a parent and their child, between a physical connection. Okay, it's not a mental connection. You want to call it etheric or spiritual or whatever, but it's physical. Would you say the connection of remote control and the TV is spiritual? Come on now. Is it etheric? Oh, is it a mental connection that the remote has with the TV? No, it's a physical connection. A physical but invisible to you, not invisible to every creature. Some creatures can see the light waves going from the remote control to the TV. You can't tell a mom it's not real or dad because I almost suffered a slight heart attack about a week ago and I was kind of bummed out about it and feeling kind of old or fragile or damaged or weak in some kind of way. It's physical, all right? There's something there. You can't see it. Now, I'm going to tell you again there is no such thing as nothing. You look up in the sky and there's no clouds, no stars, no anything to you, and you say, oh, there's nothing up there. No, there's something there, even if it's just air. And air is something. You're insane. You go around thinking in possible terms like nothing. Having this word in your brain makes you insane because there's nowhere to put it, nowhere to use it. So if you see it in sentences, every one of those sentences are insane. Every time you use the term nothing, you're speaking insanely because there's no such thing as nothing. There's always something there. Now, you, you, every creature can't detect everything. Like an ant probably can't see a plane in the sky. Okay? It's probably totally oblivious of things that big in the sky. Okay? To it, a raindrop is a big deal. Now, it's a flood. Okay? Now, so you can't detect the connection between people. There's something wrong with you because you have senses and it's there right in front of you, the connection. What connects people? They're connected by the air. This is what they're connected by. They're connected by many things that you can't see. The air is an example. The remote control on the TV is another example because your mind's been set up where there's nothing there. So I have to find a real life example of how you've been tricked. Someone told you there's nothing between the television and the remote control. Just, but there is a connection between them. It may be light, and light that is invisible to your eye. You see the little red glow at the end of the remote control or on the device. But you don't see anything going down in between. There's nothing, no line going there. There's no connection. I don't see a streak of light going through the air and hitting the TV. But you know that it's there and you know that it's happening. So, the same way you know that a mom is connected to her child, you see it all the time. Something happens to the child miles away, and the mom can sense it. Explain that if they're not connected. That's what I'm saying. Every so often, our great minds, which are literally insane, come up to the podium and says, sorry people, no, first they come up and say, we'd like to come here today and announce, they have a press conference. We'd like to announce today we've discovered this and we found out this. 10, 20, sometimes as short as 5 years later, they come back up to the podium and says, we found out that everything that we thought was wrong and it's nothing like we thought it was. Here's what we know now. They do this over and over and over as they evolve, not realizing that every truth is just deeper and deeper and deeper, and everything is on a sliding scale that exists. There's things that are cold, a little bit colder, a little bit colder, a little bit colder, a little cold, hot, a little bit hotter, a little bit hot, mean, a little bit meaner, a little bit meaner, nice, a little bit nicer, a little bit nicer, nicer, nice, nice. Then we try to go to nicest, all right? The ultimate. But everything and everyone is on a sliding scale somewhere. There are no good people, no bad people, no happy people, no sad people. There are people who are happy, little people a little happier, and people a little happier than that, and happier and happy and happy. People are sad, little people a little sadder and a little bit sadder. Okay? And this changes from minute to minute with each person. It's not like they're like gonna be like this tomorrow. So it's nothing you should worry about. It will drive you insane. Trying to put people in a slot or a category will drive you insane. There is no such thing as what you're trying to do. They are in a constant state of change. You cannot say that they are any constant or stagnant or fact. You can't state anything about them except for in the past tense. They did that. They acted this way. Or this it happened. You can't say that it's happening because before you can finish saying it, it may have stopped. And you can't say that they're going to do it, it's going to repeat itself tomorrow. So, getting back to the point, there is a connection. You're just not aware of it because if you can't see it, smell it, taste it, hear it, or feel it, um, you've been taught that it's not real. It doesn't exist. So no one can explain God, and air is you can't see, and thought you can't see it, and obviously uh, ultraviolet rays you can't see. So um, you need to slow down before you say what is. Your mind's not in shape for that. For you to be able to, that's what insane is. To be out of touch with reality, to not have a firm grip on reality, to not know what is. See, knowing what is will let you know what the outcome will be. If you know about something, then you know the details involved in interacting with it. An insane person doesn't. It'll do something and not know how it's going to come out. Like, hey, let's split the atom and see what happens. A sane person would know what they are doing and how to put it back together and take part in all that. Insane people do crazy things. As a crazy person doesn't need a reason because they're crazy. They don't need a good reason for doing things. But we're getting off the point. The point is there is a real connection. And it isn't that the mom doesn't feel your pain. She feels her own pain. In her brain. But she feels something physical when anything happens to you. So for you to grow up and say, hey, I'm growing, I live my own life, have nothing to do with you, that's a lie. She'll know when something's wrong. And she'll always be there to pick you up and dust you off. No matter how many times you've turned on her with your declaration of independence. Every time you just feel like it. But when you need, oh, You're not independent anymore. You're dependent. So what I'm saying in a nutshell is I almost had a heart attack about a week ago, and what I experienced when I saw this girl about to cry. I'd rather have a heart attack. I'd rather have a heart attack. I'd rather I'd rather die. I'd rather there it's beyond pain that you feel when your child is hurt or when anyone that you so-called love is hurt or you're connected to. Anyone you make a connection to is hurt. What you feel may not be their pain, actual physical pain, but it can be a worse feeling. Your mind can set off a heart attack. You can faint and bust your head. It's so we have to correct that little note about she doesn't feel anything and make creating insensitive people based on some primitive scientific knowledge or psychological knowledge by some primitive individuals, which I was one of them. I was like born like what, hey, half a century ago. A kid doesn't have to listen to what I knew a half a century ago. We have new information now. That's what the kid has to go by. Not something 400 years ago in the Constitution or any of that. Anything that's revised has to be reconsidered now because it means it's been here a while. And revision may not be the answer, replacement may be the answer. Now, I just want to handle that note. I sacrificed something else for this, and I'm going to make sure that I remember it and try to put it in the next note.